So, and if you were like a young entrepreneur looking to build something in the healthcare space, you didn't have much of a budget, but you kind of wanted to. So, what are some of the use cases that you can think for AI agents that are like ripe for introduction into the space right now that some young startups could like pick up on and start building? Because it's a very competitive space, but it's very well regulated. So, you have a mode of like certifications and whatnot that you can acquire.
Yeah, you have to make sure you're HIPAA compliant above and all. In healthcare, before technology, it's like you really do need to understand who's using your system, who's buying the system, who's benefiting from it. Because you have this mix of, patients, providers, and insurance companies, which makes it a very challenging space from a startup perspective. But if you're getting into it, yes, AI is sort of a must have. The ambient listening is a huge technology. It's being picked up. I wouldn't even go near that. It's too crowded of a space. I was at some health tech conferences last year. There was multiple ambient listening vendors next to each other at this conference,
That's
and
the that's the worst feeling in the.
yeah. And I asked them very pointedly, like, why are you different than the person right next to you? And they couldn't really answer.
Yeah, and then the conference organizers, like, kudos to them. I remember we were at some documentation like at Web Summit, and they put like six documentation companies all next to each other, and you're standing there, and you're like, "Well, I'm fucked."
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And the conference is making a ton of money off of these vendors being there. And it's not probably not worth their time as a startup to be at a conference like that. You're not going to get a lot
Yeah,
of attention. Where I think everybody needs to start thinking is how do you marry together these different aspects of healthcare to use the fact that the AI knows so much about the background field of medicine and research and what's happening, and marrying those things together. So, not just ambient listening, but understanding that here's the medical research. What interesting are you seeing in the data to elevate everybody's
and
experience and incorporate it into the workflow? That's a huge aspect of working in medicine and in healthcare. If it's not part of your workflow, you're never going to gain any traction because they don't have a lot of time.
so sort of like a verticalization of ambient listening. So ambient listening for delivery rooms in the infant department or whatever, like ambient, like, and it's trained specifically to listen and alert on specific things that are being said or specific events or